Los Angeles, it's the Herd wherever you may be and however you may be listening. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, FS1. My Herd hierarchy in a couple of minutes. J-Mac joining us. The Raiders are the best 1-4 team in league history. They've lost 4 close games to 4 pretty talented teams. Chargers, Tennessee, Kansas City, and, Arizona's talented, though they're struggling.
Yeah.
I think my takeaway on the Raiders is watch them now. You said the schedule lightens up.
After the bye, it gets a lot easier.
Yeah. The Raiders have, in this league right now, if you've got that many good offensive players and a good offensive coach and Derek Carr, you're going to win games. You can't get, last year, Minnesota lost all these close games. Now Minnesota's winning these games. So maybe the Raiders last year won a lot of these close ones.
7-2 in close games last year.
And it turns. Like there's certain things like fumble recoveries are random. Winning close games tends to be random. Maybe the football gods are tweaking the Raiders.
At some point, Josh McDaniels is, Raiders fans, they're a little unhappy right now with Josh McDaniels.
Raiders fans are a little unhinged all years.
You don't blow 2 17-point leads, Colin, in the NFL unless there's a problem here. Something's going on. Why are you blowing these big leads? I don't know. I don't want to start any fires here on the Herd, but just give it some thought. Josh McDaniels, close games.
Okay, yeah, let's not go there. Josh McDaniels, you think he's on the hot seat?
No, not yet.
Okay. I think the Raiders are going to turn it. I think they're the team that's going to turn it and be... I love watching them play. Every game they're in, they're like the better version. They're the more successful brother of the Lions. Their games are entertaining, but I trust the Raiders to actually win some big games. All right, here we go. Top 10 teams. Really tough at the bottom end of this. I don't know if I'm right, but here we go.
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
Listen, I'm going to go with the Chargers. It's a passing league, and they're second in the league in passing. They've got weapons, and believe it or not, even after losing Rashawn Slater, the left tackle, Herbert's the least sacked quarterback in the league. That tells you they got a Pro Bowl center and some depth on the offensive line. Listen, they're 3-2. Now, they've only beaten the Raiders, Texans, and Browns, but this is a passing league. I like the weapons. I love the quarterback, and they're protecting him. I got the Chargers at 10.
Number 9.
The Bengals, most underrated defense in the league. They have no stars. Does everybody understand how good this defense is? It's allowing the lowest completion percentage in the league. And the announcer said this the other night. I think it was Mike Tirico. It's a great defense, but they just don't have an Aaron Donald or a Jalen Ramsey or somebody named Bosa. This is a real defense. Now, the concern is they have taken away the deep shots for Joe Burrow. They're literally defending him different, so they're only averaging about 4.8 yards a play, which is bottom quarter of the league. That they got to get right. Bengals at 9.
Number 8.
Dallas. It's mostly a defensive story. They've held all 5 of their opponents to a touchdown. Now, some of this is they've been playing, less than dynamic offenses. But if you can win with a backup, and you watch that Rams game, they had that thing won 7 minutes in. Block punt, defensive touchdown. So they've scored in 13 consecutive quarters. That's with a backup. 13. No team in the league has done that. Not even Kansas City. They have scored in 13 consecutive quarters. Cowboys at 8.
Number 7.
My Vikings. I called it. I said all those close losses are going to become close wins with an offensive coach. Minnesota's only loss came on the road Monday Night Football to Philadelphia. Now, they're not great enough to blow people out. That's why they can struggle with Chicago or struggle with Detroit. They're not that dynamic at quarterback. But Kirk Cousins leads the NFL with 3 game-winning drives. And that was my whole rant this offseason. Kirk Cousins needs to feel supported. He's a very solid B to B-plus quarterback when he feels supported. He didn't last year. He got tight late in games. This year he's not. This is a real... I don't think it's a Super Bowl team. But it's a win a division, win a playoff game team. Vikings at 7.
Number 6.
Listen, Tampa Bay. Okay, they lost. They were all beat up. And when they were injury-riddled, they lost to the Chiefs and Packers. I'm okay with this team. They were literally missed all their receivers in one game. Brady, this is the most pass-centric offense Brady's ever had. He has 141 completions. That's tied for the most in the NFL. He's a 45-year-old quarterback. That's not the way it's supposed to work. And they lead the NFL in sack differential. So Tom gets protected, and they get after your quarterback. I got the experience. I got the defensive personnel. I got Brady and playmakers. I put them at 6. They could be low.
Number 5.
But I love Baltimore. Listen, they've led by double digits, 10-plus points in all 5 of their games. Their defense leads the NFL in takeaways, and Lamar's got 10 passing touchdowns from the middle of the pocket. So that's viewed as the weakness, right? You know, Lamar, the throwing part, he got 10 touchdowns standing in the pocket, tied for the most in the NFL. It is weird. They're not a great home team, which I always thought Baltimore was one of the toughest places in the league to go play. I think, by the way, here's a new rule on the show. Primetime game, pick Harbaugh. I mean, John Harbaugh has got to be the most underrated coach of my lifetime. The bigger the game, the better the Ravens play. Ravens at 5.
Number 4.
God, I love the Niners. Too bad half the team is hurt. This team is, first of all, fewest yards per play allowed in the NFL. Nobody gives you less per play than the Niners. They lead the NFL in sacks and sack differential. They have the number 1 scoring defense. This, without multiple starters. They have been ravaged by injuries. They lost another 4 this week. This team is loaded, and Garoppolo doesn't make mistakes. He's Chris Paul, 3rd in the league in touchdown to interception ratio. If this team gets healthy, I'll call it right now. They're the first or second best team in the league. They're not close to healthy now, and they're still winning games convincingly. That is a roster.
Number 3.
The Bills. Okay, listen, we all like the Bills. 20 of their last 22 wins are blowouts. My concern is, why don't they win close? Because they don't have a consistent run game. They don't get those tiny yards. They are too dependent on Josh Allen, and he's great. If you got to be dependent on somebody in the league, make it Josh Allen or Mahomes. That part I like. But they only win one way, blowout. You're not going to blow out Kansas City. You're not going to blow out Baltimore. You're going to be in close games. They have got to figure out a way to consistently run the ball when it's not in the hands of Josh Allen. Bills at 3.
Number 2.
The Chiefs. They're like the opposite of the Niners. It's most of their talent's on offense, but they are situationally brilliant. Playmakers on offense, smartest offensive coach, best quarterback. There's not a lot I don't like. They lead the NFL in first downs. They had almost 30 last night. So here's the other thing about them. They just moved the chains. And nobody in the league plays better from behind. That is a huge quality in the NFL. They're a great team from behind. I have them at 2.
Number 1.
I don't think they're a Super Bowl team, but Philadelphia's stats, folks, fewest giveaways. Lead the NFL in big plays. Yes, they do with 44. They have the most takeaways and the fewest giveaways. So they play great defense. They protect the quarterback. They lead the NFL in turnover differential. Only team not to have trailed in the second half. I don't know if they're peaking early, but the data tells you right now they make no mistakes. They force you into them. They dominate time of possession. And you would think, it's kind of they don't do a lot of big plays. They lead the NFL in big plays. Some of this is front office, some is Jalen Hurts. It's just impressive. That's all I know. Mitchell Schwartz, the 3-time Pro Bowler, the Super Bowl champ, is joining us now live.